introduce Rabbi Shirky. Catch the Torah wave, folks. Welcome back to our Genesis class live from Jerusalem with Rabbi Chaim Goldberg. We truly believe that one day, as the waters cover the sea, so the whole earth will be filled with the glory of the Lord and the Torah position. So we're so excited today. We've got we're joined by many people in the Zoom room as usual. We got our friend Lelaine in the Philippines, Paul Garcia down in San Antonio. We're joined by Karen down in Alabama, my friend Italo down in South America, Travis Cox in Atlanta, our friend Lara in Queens, Wendell and Jack, Johnny Van Stein in Ohio, my good friend Cole Younger over in Seattle. We're glad to have you with us. Always great to be joined by many people around the world. I see we've got Mihaela Gamici from Italy with us here on YouTube as well. Always good to be with everybody and to hear Torah shining out of the nation of Israel and specifically out of Jerusalem from the learned rabbis. And today, because this Tuesday is the 27th of Chesvan, which, if you're not familiar, is according to tradition, is the day that Noah and his family came out of the ark. And today we've got the founder of the Noahide World Center, Rav Uri Shirky, with us to give a blessing to Noahide. So I'm not going to go on and on and on. Let's just jump right in and see how Rabbi Shirky is and if he's going to share with us. Rabbi Shirky, we're going to put you on the air, sir.
Hello, you. Shalom and good evening.
Shalom, Rav. It's so good to have you with us. Such an honor.
It's such a pleasure for me to meet you. And first of all, I have to apologize. You know that English is not my natural language. So I make some efforts to be able to speak with you.
Thank you.
But the joy
We're
of
honored.
the meeting is so great that it was great. So I must do this effort. And you will forgive me for the many errors and difficulties that I will and you will meet together. Yes, I would like to give my blessings from Zion and Jerusalem, and I would like to share with you a question that I was often asked by many persons from the Jewish people and outside of it. The question is, what is the Jewish people good for? Why do we need it? So God has created man, and he is a divine creature. So we do not need anymore any chosen people to help us to be in the resemblance of God. But I have an image for this, a metaphor. The metaphor is that the world is like a house. And in this house, you put people. And the house need to have a roof, because without a roof, you are disturbed by rain,
to the elements,
the sun, and any nuisance. So you need a roof. And the roof between us and the Creator is the nature. Nature is protecting us, protects us from meeting directly the infinite, to meet directly the divinity, transcendence. And we are also protected by our conscience, our intellectual thinking. But so we are protected. We are in a closed house. But you cannot live in a completely closed place. You need also a chimney who gives you air and light. You can breathe. So there is a chimney between the world and the divinity. And we, the Jews, we are responsible for sustaining and cleaning this chimney. We are the cleaners of the chimney of God. So we are not in every time so clean, but it is because we have a role, the role of transmitting. We are a channel. We're a channel who gives the world the contact with divinity by the mean of the voice of God. That is our role. So that's the reason for which we had so much prophets in the antiquity and the times past time, and we hope to restore prophecy for the goodness of the entire world, entire mankind. So we are, as said one philosopher, Blaise Pascal, who said 500 years ago, important for him, because if in any time God spoke with man, we have to address the Jews to have the tradition concerning this. So it is not so easy for us to be the transmitters. But a question arose. If it is true, so the Torah should not have been given only for the Jewish people, but for the whole mankind. And in fact, we have in one of the Psalms, in the 68 Psalms, we have a verse very interesting. When God spoke, it became a lot of armies. And the explanation given by our sages is that every word given by God to Israel was immediately translated in 70 languages. 70 is the number, the archetype of the number of the nations. And the question of one of our rabbis 400 years ago, Rabbi Moshe Alshech from Turkey and Jerusalem, was if it was translated in 70 languages, how did it come that the Torah was not known in the nations before it was translated very much later by the Greeks? And the answer is that the nations received not the voice itself, but the echo of the voice. And this echo left some
residual,
some effect in the collectiveness of the conscience of the nations. And that is the reason for which, after thousands of years, this echo becomes a hearing, and this hearing is the origin of the phenomenon of the Noahide movement today. So we together participate to a great enterprise of leading the world to its goal. And we do it together. We are only a channel. You are the goal. You are the persons who sanctify the glory of God. Today, for a little group, only a few thousands or many, a little bit more, are conscious, the conscience of what Noahidism is. But you are the first one. And we together, we are bringing all mankind to a better world. So it is for me a very important occasion to realize what the providence wants from us. We were a long time, a too much long time in exile.
Mm-hmm.
And because we were in exile, it was impossible for many nations to hear the authentic voice of the Torah in the world. And today we came back to our base. And from this base, which is the state of Israel, Jerusalem, Zion, we have the possibility of becoming what God wants from us, to be a blessing for all the families of the world. And the prophet Isaiah and also the prophet Micah told us that there will come a day in which it will be said by the nations themselves, from Zion comes the Torah and the voice of God from Jerusalem. So we understand that the support of many persons in the world, the support for the state of Israel, is not a political interest. It is a thing concerning the essence of the possibility to hear the voice of God once more in our world. Thank you very much to be with us. Thank you to Rabbi Chaim Goldberg. Thank you for every person who makes efforts for this important enterprise that maybe is the most important enterprise in our world today. Thank you very much, and have a good holiday for the Feast of the Nations.
Oh, thank you so much, Rabbi Shirky. We so appreciate all your outreach. We love your books, Brit Olam and Brit Shalom. We are so thankful that you started Brit Olam, the Noahide World Center, and we're just overjoyed to see it growing. We're joined online in the YouTube chat room. We've got Laka from Toronto, Michaela P. from Germany. We've got our friend Solvig in Germany, Roberta Fraslini in the UK, Harish in India, and still we've got many, many, many more people here in the Zoom room, at least 30 or more, and it's just a joy to connect with purpose and to desire to cleave closer to Hashem. And we thank you for your all your outreach, and we're just overjoyed to be a part of seeing it grow. And we hope that over the next year it grows more and more. And we're all waiting for a massive explosion of numbers, and we know it will happen soon enough.
So nice and so exciting to hear you. Thank you very much.
Bless you.
Person who wants to say some things, yes.
First of all, thank you very, very much, Rabbi Shirky, for coming and for being part of us. And this is an opportunity. If people want to ask something or to say something to Rabbi Shirky, he have a few minutes more with us. Yes, it's a great occasion. I want to say, maybe, I don't know if you've heard from the beginning, Rabbi Shirky, מההתחלה, that we have here also people from other languages who are passing then the things that we are teaching here to other places and to other languages. And the most important thing is that we have also Stephen from Australia. We need to applause because it's for him, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. And we have also Lalaine, please raise your hand. She's from the Filipinos. For her, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. And we have also people from, we have also Jacobi from
Yes.
India. Also, it's very early for them in the morning. So it's very
I'm told we have many people here from Turkey as well. I'm not familiar with everybody in the Zoom room today, so.
Yes. Okay. If someone have anything to ask Rabbi Sherki, this is an opportunity. Please feel comfortable. Not all of you together.
Okay. No, don't have to. Yes.
Rabbi,
Yes.
I don't have a
Travis,
question.
yes, go.
I don't have a question. I just have a statement that I would like to thank you for everything that you do, all of the rabbis and everything that work in this. This is a movement that I believe the Rebbe, when he started it way back when and got the first beginners, and they're here and they're taking classes and teaching, and you just took it and ran with it. I love your teaching books. I love the way that everything comes through. It's all out of goodness and kindness as it's supposed to be. And I thank you for allowing me to be one of the Gentiles to take the hymn. And that's all I've got to say. I thank you for allowing me to.
We appreciate you, Travis.
Baruch Hashem. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Rabbi, thank you very much. That's all we can say as well. You've helped us a lot. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for thank you.
Mike and Angela, please say a few words about yourself and from where are you and everything else. Yes.
I'm sorry about that. Yeah. Okay. Angela, Mike, we're from the UK. We've been Noahides for just over a year. On a long journey, my wife especially longer than I have. She's been doing this for about 30 years. And I joined her for the last couple. And then we were put towards the Noahide World Center. And we followed on from there.
You've got a rabbi?
And we've got a rabbi now in the UK and a small group of people for Noahide UK under the auspices of the Noahide World Center. And we follow your teachings with your books. So thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Yes. Do you know, I would like to say something about thanking. You know, God may do anything instead of us. If He wants me to be rich, He can do it. If He wants me to be healthy, He can do it for me. But there is one thing that only us we can do, is to thanking. Thanking is when you thank God for His action. So you make one thing that He cannot do, and you are achieving. We are completing the work of creation. Okay, Paul Garcia, I think, wants to speak. Yes.
Thank you so much, Rabbi. Shalom and peace be upon you. I want to say thank you so much from San Antonio, Texas.
Oh.
And we're very grateful to you and for your program. But I do want to ask you, you made a book about the evil inclination. I know it is in Hebrew, but do you have any other translations to that book, that particular book that you had made?
Which one?
On the Yetzer Hara?
About the evil inclination.
Hebrew connection?
No, you made a book on the Yetzer Hara? He's asking if it is
yes.
any other translation.
It is one article in the whole book, which is called Holiness and Nature, which has been translated in these days, but not published now. It will take some many months, not a year, a little number of months, and it will be published under the name Holiness and Nature.
Holiness and Nature. There you go, Paul.
Okay. Yes. Thank you so much, Rabbi.
It will be, it's translated in French and in English. Yes. It will be published soon, hopefully in the next coming few months.
Well, I'll be one of the first to get it.
Okay, no problem.
So much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, Rabbi, I wish we could stand when you came in the room, but being on social media is very hard to stand up.
Okay.
I will second that, Dan. It was very strange not to stand in the presence of the rabbis. That we have to be on this, because as we go through wisdom of the fathers, we find that, you know, there are teachers and leaders. There are betters. We should stand for them. And I'm on Zoom, Rabbi, and I didn't stand. And like Dan said, it's a very uncomfortable thing when you're used to it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you much for understanding.
Okay.
We pray for your health, Rabbi.
Thank you very much. And I will leave you now and have a good continuation with Rabbi Goldberg and have a good and holy life. Thank you very much.
Blessings.
Thank you.
Well, that was Rabbi Uri Shirky, the founder of the Noahide World Center, and we're so grateful for his outreach. It's what spawned this class inevitably, and some numerous works. We love the Brit Shalom book and the Brit Olam prayer book. I know many people are using it, and even some other rabbis that are reading from it and doing outreach with it. It's useful, and it's practical, and it's concise, and it's not overbearing or weighty. It's enough for the average person to digest and understand and implement, because that's what we're here to do, is put action into works, into practice. And we're thankful that Rabbi Goldberg continually reaches out to us as well and shares continuously. And we've been going at this in Genesis now. We're nearing 3 years straight in Genesis, and it's just a joy.
Okay, good evening, everybody, and thank you very much for participating and coming, especially for Rabbi Shirky. I think that it's a bit an unfair situation, because if we would ask him to speak French, he will speak fluently, and we know that French and English is not really going good. If you think that English and England is not going good with English, so you don't know what it is for French and English to speak one with each other. But even though I think that we know that he's a great rabbi, and also the chief rabbis of Israel are admiring him, and he's one of the rabbis who is very known in Israel, also with all of the population. Okay, even the secular population really likes his wordings and things, and thousands of people are listening to him and going after him. So we are really grateful that he decided also to put this effort outside. And let's jump inside. It is a very unique day, so I want to teach you something important from Genesis. First of all, from the place that we are, but I'm going to show this in Genesis in few more places, so we will start to realize what exactly this book of Genesis is trying to teach us. I want to say again the foundation. The foundation is that the Bible is not a history book. The Bible also is not a scientific book, okay? We are trying all the time that we have some, I will say, some principle. And one of the principles that we have, that it can't be that the Bible will be against the scientific understanding.
Right.
Now, we know that the world also moved from one understanding to another understanding. So we need to be careful, because a lot of times scientific understanding is not really scientific,
stable.
because hey, it's not stable, okay? But on the other side, it's not a scientific book. The Bible is the will of God, the wish of God, and it's being said through the words of God with this, how to
Live.
What exactly what is the moral behavior that we need to have when we are living. So I want to show something, and we really got to this exactly point, and I'm going to show this from the point that we came in another place in Genesis, and we need to connect it to all of Genesis. So please go with me. It's related to those days of the humanity days. For that, I'm going to share the screen. I think I opened this up. Maybe I didn't. If not, so in 2 minutes it will be open. Okay, I see that it's not opened yet. Just a moment. Here it is. Here it is. We're using the Chabad Bible. It's always good to use it. It's okay. It's the most exact, I will say, translation that we have. Let's move this back. Can you see my screen, right? Can you?
Yes.
Yes, you can see my screen. Excellent. So we saw last week, we started chapter 18 in Genesis, and we saw how Abraham is meeting three people. We spoke about the options that we have, if they were real people or it was only everything there inside
dream.
Not a dream, prophecy, okay,
A vision.
bigger than a dream, fine. As it says in the beginning, okay, that God appeared to Abraham, so it's a prophecy. And I want us to read for a moment verses 9 till 15. Please read them,
Okay.
and then we will start to explain what is happening there.
Okay, verse 9. And they said to him, where is Sarah, your wife? And he said, behold, in the tent. And he said, I will surely return to you at this time next year, and behold, your wife Sarah will have a son. And Sarah heard from the entrance of the tent, and it was behind him. Now Abraham and Sarah were old, coming on in years. Sarah had ceased to have the way of the women. And Sarah laughed within herself, saying, after I have become worn out, will I have smooth flesh? And also my master is old. And the Lord said to Abraham, why did Sarah laugh, saying, is it really true that I will give birth, although I am old? Is anything hidden from the Lord? At the appointed time I will return to you at this time next year, and Sarah will have a son. And Sarah denied, saying, I did not laugh because she was afraid. And he said, no, but you laughed.
First of all, the last sentence here is a bit weird. It's reminding us more or less the situation in the kindergarten, where the teacher there is saying, you were laughing, and the kid is saying, I wasn't laughing at all, and she said, no, you laughed. And, it's a bit weird, this verse, but we'll speak about this verse. It's a very deep, very profound verse, what is happening there in verse 15. It's not a simple one. Before we will go there, I want to deal for a moment. We have a lot of things to speak here, at least 4 points, okay? But first I want to ask a very, very simple question. Why in verse 12, okay, when Sarah was laughing, why she laughed? What was the reason she laughed? What exactly she said to herself?
She had ceased to have the way of women, which I think she was, past menopause, post-menopause.
Fine. But, and then she's saying to herself, after I have become worn out, okay, we'll have a smooth flesh, fine. But she's giving another thing. What is the second thing she's asking? And?
My master is old. Abraham is even old.
Abraham is old. Okay, now when I'm looking on verse number 13, when God is saying, is God repeating exactly what she said? Please look in verse number 13. God is changing something there. Instead of saying that Sarah laughed on Abraham, God is saying that Sarah laughed on herself. I think that God is never, I will say, lying. He's also always very exact. But here, he really changed things. Sarah was laughing on Abraham. And when God is speaking with Abraham, he is changing something there. And he's saying, Sarah was laughing at herself. Why God is changing those words? Do you know why? Very simple.
To protect Abraham.
To what? To protect what?
To protect him from shame, not to shame.
Not to shame Abraham?
Not to make him feel bad.
So he wants that there will be what we call Shalom Bayit, that there will be a good relationship between Abraham and Sarah. He is protecting Sarah. He is protecting the relationship between Abraham and Sarah. God is changing his words to protect the relationship between Abraham and Sarah. From here, our sages learned that there are times that you need to change your words. I'm speaking very gently, okay? It's a bit of a lie. Change your words to have the great relationship between the husband and wife, to strengthen the relationship between husband and wife. Okay, you with me? We see here clearly, it's very clear. She was laughing at him, at Abraham, and God changed his words. Instead of telling Abraham that Sarah was laughing at him, God is saying that Sarah was laughing at herself. And he changed his words because he wants that the relationship between the husband and wife will be strengthened, won't get weakened. In the last few months, few people asked me, and I think that it's more than once. It's already in the last few years. From the time that you know me, I think, Dan, I'm saying those words. It's very important, the relationship that you have with your spouse. It's very important. You can't come and take the excuse, I will say, of the Noahide world movement for breaking the relationship between you and your wife, or you and your husband. Here is where we see it. It's very important, the relationship between husband and wife, between those two people, with the unit of them.
From the voice of Hashem, yeah.
We see here different of the voice of Hashem. Now let me jump for a moment to the end of Genesis. And this is where we will start to see what is the main path that Genesis is trying to show us. It's a tragic chapter. Joseph is crying on the face of his father Jacob, who died. Okay, and they're doing all the ceremony of bringing him to Israel. And after they're bringing him to Israel and everything else, please read verses 15 and 16.
15, and now Joseph's
15,
brothers
16 and
saw.
17, sorry.
Now Joseph's brothers saw that their father had died, and they said, "Perhaps Joseph will hate us and return to us all the evil we did to him." So they commanded messengers to go to Joseph and say, "Your father commanded us before his death, saying, 'So shall you say to Joseph, please forgive your brothers. Please forgive now your brothers' transgression and their sins, for they did evil to you. Now please forgive the transgressions of the servants of the God of your father." Joseph wept when they spoke to him.
And they're saying also to themselves, we are going to be your servants. Okay, this is the next verse, in verse 18.
His brothers also went and fell before him, and they said, "Behold, we are your slaves, your servants."
Yes. Now, we never saw in the Bible, it's never written down ever, that Jacob said to Joseph, "Forgive your brothers." More than that, we know in our tradition that Joseph did everything not to stay only alone with his father. So his father will never ask him how exactly it started that you came to Egypt, because he didn't want that his father will know from him that his brothers sold him. So therefore, his father never said to them, "Forgive us," or "Forgive them." Again, the Bible here is saying some sort of a lie. The brothers are saying that it wasn't a true thing.
So Jacob died without knowledge of what happened?
Exactly. In our tradition, we know that Jacob died without a knowledge exactly what happened. We have a few ways how we know that. I won't go inside of this. Jacob wasn't aware about the way that Joseph went to Egypt or was being sold and everything else. He never knew in his life. I'm sure that now, that he's in heaven and he knows everything, but I'm speaking here in this world, he never knew. Therefore, he never sent any message to Joseph to forgive his brothers and things like that. And It's written down here like very clear. This is what he said to us to say to you. And again, it's the second time where we see that the Bible is changing for peace reasons. I will say it like that. For having comfort situation between brothers, just like he changed the words in our chapter, in chapter 18, okay, for having a comfort situation between
Peace.
husband and wife, peace. And now we're starting to realize all Genesis from beginning to the end, because how Genesis started. I'm not speaking about the first three
Cain and Abel.
chapters, but it started with Cain and Abel, and what happened there?
Cain slew Abel.
A brother killed his brother, right? And from there, what we are looking for is how the firstborn child will be able to live with another secondary
Sibling.
child.
Yeah.
Yes. And this is what the Bible is trying to teach us, that there are times that you need to change a bit your words, but not to bring more, I will call it, fire inside the hateness and the all the fighting inside, but to bring peace inside there, to do your best for bringing peace. This is how the end of Genesis, of this book, is where Joseph is crying. Why Joseph is crying? You know, it's written down, Joseph wept when they spoke with him. I need to show here in Rashi, and you will see it. You need to read Rashi for that. It's not written down here.
20?
No, it's in the Midrash. It's in the Midrash, okay? It's in the Midrash. He wept because he was very ashamed that they thought that he's going to do something to them. He really forgave them. He really was, after that, he said to himself, it's okay. And he said to them all sorts of things that everything is okay. It's not.
Well, if he never told his father, he would have known they were stretching the truth.
It's of course, and this is why he was a bit shamed. He said to himself, "How come, after everything we said and everything we did, and I really forgive them, and they're still thinking that I'm going to do to them something bad."
And he comforted them and spoke to their hearts. Is that it in 21?
Yes, exactly. And you can read the Rashi there also, okay?
Rashi, and spoke to their hearts. Convincing words. Before you came down here, they, the Egyptians, were spreading rumors about me that I was a slave. Through you, it became known that I am a free man. Now, if I kill you, what will people say? He, Joseph, saw a group of young men and glorified himself through them by saying, they are my brothers. And at the end, he killed them. If there's such a thing as a brother who kills his brothers, from Genesis Rabbah 109. Another explanation, if 10 candles could not extinguish one candle, how can one candle extinguish 10 candles, from Megillah 16b?
Okay. I'm one candle, and you are 10 candles, and you try to kill me, and it didn't work for you. So how do you think that me, will manage to kill you, all of you? So he spoke with them in a common sense, I will say it like that, but they are not in the common sense here. And this is where we're starting to see the clash. And this is one of the things that the Torah is trying to teach us. It's trying to teach us that there are times that there is only one situation where you can feel comfortable with yourself to change a bit the wordings. But if it's bringing more peace and comfort zone between people, this is where you have the obligation even to change a bit your words, not to bring more fire inside the hateness between people, but to do the best to bring more calm and peaceful situation between people.
So never use truth as fuel on a fire.
Exactly. Very, very good. How did you say this? Yes, Charlie, you wanted to ask something. Yes, please.
Yes, I believe this shows the importance of Shalom Bayit. peace in the home.
Exactly.
It's the most important thing.
Exactly.
And it's stressed in both of these examples you gave. It's stressed very strongly.
I agree with you 100%. And this is something that I said more than once for people with more than once. When people are asking us about the relationship between husband and wife, we're saying that it's much more important, the good relationship of what we call the Shalom Bayit, of the relationship between husband and wife, than all sorts of ideas or other things. We need to do our best that the relationship between husband and wife will be more and more strengthened. And this is how the world is continuing on. Thank you very much for that. Yes. Yes, Laura.
Yeah, I don't think it means that we should never say the truth.
No, I didn't say that.
Yeah, we can speak tactfully, and we can phrase our words in a different manner, but that doesn't mean we should never say the truth, right?
I didn't say that you're not supposed to say the truth. I said that you need to be careful when you're saying it and to whom you're saying it. And there are times that you need to be, you need even to change a bit the truth, to twist it a bit, so it will strengthen the situation between husband and wife or between brothers, instead of bringing more hateness inside them.
Right. Don't use it to hurt. Don't use, yeah. I've seen that often when people are embittered, when they get bitter, they want to say they're screaming and seeking the truth, but in reality they want to use the truth as gasoline on a fire or lighting a hay. You know, it's a volatile situation, and in a volatile situation, yes, seek peace is what I think the message is.
Yes, yes, Travis, you wanted to ask, to note something also. Yes,
Yeah,
please.
yes, Rabbi. I want to go back to chapter 18, verse 12. It says that she laughed within herself. A silent laugh is the way I took that. And we find that she is laughing because of their ages. You know, it's one of those disbelief things, but it's an internal thing. And when we go to 50, it's also an internal thing. It's things that we should keep to ourselves. It's like proofreading. You know, we open our mouth without thinking on the spot, and we say things, and then we say, wow, if I could have just proofread that and changed this word to this, they would have accepted it. So it's
I understand what you're saying.
It's keeping harmony in the family, but it's also telling us that what's within ourselves can come to light and harm other individuals. So we should keep our thoughts as kind as our words coming out of our mouth.
Okay, fine. I agree with what you're saying, but I want to go, if it's okay with all of you and also with you, Travis, I want to go a bit more profound to those verses. Okay.
Yes,
Two
please.
points I want to mention in those verses. First of all, you hinted to those words in verse 13, and then the answer of God in verse 14. Is we see that maybe Sarah didn't really believe that God had the possibility. Yeah. She doubted if God have the possibility of doing miracle. Now it's a bit strange, but listen good to what I have to say here. And this is something that I've learned from Rabbi Sherki, I must say. It's the first time that God is going to do a miracle in the world. And when the first time is coming to the world, you can doubt things. When God is answering, I'm going to do this miracle, and this is what he's answering in verse 14, okay? And he's doing the miracle. We know that after a year, Isaac was born, and then he did also a lot of other miracles and things like that. So today, to doubt the possibility of God of doing miracles, it's an unbeliever person. But for Sarah, that was the first person that God said to him, I'm going to do a miracle. It's reasonable that she will say, is it possible? Is it going to be? It will happen? And God is saying to her, yes, it will happen. You will see. You are the first one I'm going to do a miracle here. Now, nobody in the world before that got any miracles. Even Noah in the ark. What happened? What happened in the ark? Noah built up for 100 years. He built up an ark, okay? And then the flood came. But what was the flood? The flood was, we spoke about this already. The stars did, one of the stars came to the earth and everything, and the water went up and went down and everything else. And those who are in the ark got saved. But you think about this, it's a reasonable nature situation. If you are inside of some sort of an ark, so you will be saved from the water. Okay? No one had any miracle before that. For 2,000 years, there were no miracles here. And then God came and said, I'm going to do a miracle. So Sarah was, doubting. Is it true? God can do miracles? God can do something against what is happening in this world? Against the nature? God said to her, yes, I can. And you will see that I will do it. And he did it. And then he did more miracles. So, okay, fine. Now we know that God knows and can or have the possibility of breaking the laws of nature because he created them. So therefore he have also the possibility of ruling them. And he's doing it when he thinks he needs to do that. So today, to doubt about the possibility of God of doing miracles, it's a sin. But for Sarah, it wasn't a sin. The doubt was reasonable. So this is point number one. It's a bit profound, but think about this, you will see it's going good. And now I'm going to go to another very, very profound understanding. Please go with me, okay? Go step by step, and then if you have questions, ask. But listen to what I have to say. Abraham was a righteoushood. You know that the Hebrew nation have three righteoushood foundations, funders, okay? We have Abraham, we have Isaac, and Jacob. But Abraham is one thing, Isaac is a different thing, and Jacob is the third one. If I will try to say it in other words, I will say it like that. If a journalist, someone from the New York Times, not of today it's very, lifted. Speaking of the New York Times, 50 years ago when they were really, they knew how to do the journalist work. We'll go to Abraham and we'll try to do an interview with Abraham about who is God. Abraham will express God as the most kindest person or kindest God in this world who is giving life to everybody. If this same journalist will go to Isaac and will speak with him, who is God? Isaac will speak about something else. God is the one that everybody needs to fear from. And if God is asking you to give him your life, you need to give him your life. Isaac is saying, or the relationship between Isaac and God is different, the opposite from Abraham. Abraham is the mercy side, and Isaac is the what we call the din side, the judgment side. Okay, you got life, pay for them something. What are you going to pay for them? If you got life, pay your life back. Pay your life back. Okay, this is where Isaac is willing also to give his life back when God is asking him to give his life. It's a test for Abraham, not for Isaac. And Jacob is something else. I'm not going to go inside now to Jacob. Okay. So Jacob is something in the middle, okay, doing the right thing in exactly the middle, but I won't go inside to this. Now, when God is saying to Abraham that he's going to get a son, and this son, the word Yitzchak in Hebrew, tzchok, laughing in Hebrew, is going, it's two words of going out from the laws. Okay, when you go out from the laws, you're laughing. It's something that unexpected. God is coming to Abraham and saying to him, listen, you as the mercy person, as the one who have the relationship with God from the side of the chesed, of giving and giving and giving to everybody and all those things, you're going to have a son on the other side of the world with the fear of God. Fear of God. So God is saying this to Abraham and Sarah. And at the moment that God is saying this, Sarah is still not pregnant, but the soul of Isaac is starting to tickling inside Sarah. Okay? So what exactly is written down in number 15? I did not laugh because she was afraid, fear, judgment. Okay, inside something there from Isaac. So it's starting to tickling her. She's afraid. She really is afraid. And God is saying to her, no. Inside yourself, you were also a bit going out of the laws. Going out of the laws is laughing. The word laughing is going out of laws. If you will think about this, when are you cracking and laughing? When something is not in the right routine. Okay? The right routine is very simple, but suddenly the mouse is starting to chase after the cat. So this is funny. Okay? Because it's not logical. And this is what is happening there. The debate inside Sarah, it's not a debate of the kindergarten. You laughed, you didn't laugh. I said this, you didn't say that. Though everyone who was a teacher knows that he can come inside to the class and see a big fight or something like that, and everybody is saying that this one said that.
It was not the norm, that's for sure.
It's not what we're speaking here in verse number 15. In verse number 15, God is saying to Sarah, listen, you know what? Why inside you also a bit of laugh? Because you're starting to get the soul. It's tickling. The soul of Isaac is starting to tickling you. And she's feeling also the frightening, the judgment of God. This is what is happening in verse number 15. It's very profound. It's not easy, but this is, from now on, we're starting to move. That Abraham is starting to listen, to see, or to realize that his son is going to be something different than him. He's going to be the second part of the building up this nation of the Hebrew nation. And this is something that it's a bit different than anything else. This is what is happening in those verses here. It's not just some sort of discussion. By the way, we saw that also Abraham in chapter 17 laughed. He was laughing when God said to him that he's going to get Isaac. Again, why did he laugh? Because it is going out from the laws of nature. So it's a bit funny, Suddenly the cat is chasing Tom,
It's abnormal, yeah.
It's an abnormal, so we're starting to laugh. Laughing is where things are in a non-normal situation, okay? Exaggerating and funny things. This is the funny things. And this is what is happening with Yitzchak. There are also other explanations about Yitzchak. I will say it in one word. I won't explain this now too much, but I will say this. Yitzchak is also the letters of Ketz, ending, and Chai, living. Okay? Yitzchak, those are two words also inside him. And he gave Esau the ending, and he gave Jacob the living. But I won't go into this. We will learn this later on. But this is something a bit else. But this is what is happening here also with those verses. The situation between Abraham, Sarah, relationship between them, and also Sarah with God, is starting to realize that something here is much more. It's not only what we said, multiply, another person that is coming, but it's also fruitful. It's something different, new. The new generation that is different than Abraham and Sarah. I was clear enough? I hope I was clear enough. If not, you can ask questions, please. Yes.
Anybody asking? I want to ask you, Rob.
Yes.
You said that there was no miracles before that, but what about the furnace, Nimrod's furnace, when they threw Abraham inside the furnace?
I'm not exactly sure about what you're speaking, but it's not written down in the Bible. It might be written down in the Midrashim. So we have all sorts of things or ideas in the Midrashim, in the Midrash, in the oral Bible, that we're saying that Abraham was being thrown out to the Ur Kasdim, to the fire, and he was saved and everything else. But it's not written down in the Bible. So what exactly happened there and how exactly it happened? It's more, I think, giving an idea I will say it like that, in the, basically we have the last family of the Hebrew nation that is being put in to death in the gas chambers. Third of them was in the death. This is what we call Haran. Okay, Haran. A third managed to, two-thirds managed to escape. One of the two-thirds stayed in Haran, and the last third came to Israel. It's a bit similar to what happened in the last 100 years, okay? When third of the Hebrew nation were in the gas chambers, some of them managed to escape to Israel, and some of them managed to escape to the United States and other places in the world, to Australia or other places. Okay, so now I'm asking you, is everybody who escaped from the chambers of the, I will say, of the German chambers, all of them, what exactly was the miracle there? It was more or less, my family, for example, they had a lot of miracles on their way, on the journey of running from the, but those miracles were, I will say, natural miracles. Okay, it wasn't that. It's not that
supernatural.
they were, yeah, inside the gas chamber and someone took them out and they lived. It's not. It wasn't like that. Okay, because those who went to the gas chambers died. So we're speaking about something, a situation where it was, something similar to what is happening today. Again, in the Bible, there is no any hint, or it's no any nothing written down stated that there was miracle before that. This is the first miracle that is being explained and being said in the Bible.
Rabbi, I noticed something as we went through the Parsha this week. It's also about Isaac, since we're on it. It talked about Isaac being offered at 37. I've read in a midrash or sacred text that Isaac had a conversation with Ishmael the day before the Akedah, where he said, should Hashem commanded or asked me to be the sacrifice, I would do it willingly, and he went willingly. We know that. That's in the midrash. But 3 years later is when he takes Rivka for the wife, and for his wife, and that puts him at age 40. And you were talking about he is the transition, and we brought the number 40 that I asked about earlier, which is the number of transition. So is that the year that it was actually transitioning from Abraham's righteousness to Isaac's righteousness over as a patriarch and matriarchs?
The main transition was in the Akedah, what we call the Akedah. Okay, we didn't came there yet in our lessons, but it's a chapter, if I remember correctly, 22 or something like that. In the Akedah, it's written down. It's written down the transition. Okay, I can show you the exact verses. It's written down the transition. Just a moment, where Abraham is realizing that the main son of himself, okay, is Isaac, and not Ishmael, and not Damascus Eliezer, okay. And it says here, here I am, my son. It's the first time that Abraham is saying to Isaac, you are my son. And this is where the transmission is starting. And this is also where we see that suddenly that God is saying to Abraham, okay, now I knew that you
are a God-fearing man.
Fearing. It's the first time that Abraham is also on the side of the fear. As we spoke in a moment ago with the tickling of Sarah, okay, with the soul of Isaac. The side of the fearing, this is what Isaac is teaching everybody in this environment, okay? And here we have that also Abraham. By the way, we see that God is testing Abraham. Now, if you're asking me, The one who was supposed to die was Isaac, right? So why the test is for Abraham? The main test is for Isaac. Isaac is supposed to give his life. But this is again what I'm saying. Isaac is a righteoushood who believe in the judgment. And he says, if I got life for free, I can give them back to God. It's not a question. So for him, it's not a test. For whom is the test? For Abraham. Abraham will say all the time that you need to give to others and to give more. And if you got life, so you need to give and to give and to give. But who is allowing God to take the life back? So for Abraham is a test, for Isaac is not a test.
Wow.
But again, we jumping a bit ahead because we need to learn a bit more about Isaac and Abraham, and we need to move a bit more with Abraham, more steps to start to realize exactly what is happening with him.
Rabbi, can you take a question from YouTube?
Yes.
Mihaela Gamici is asking, she says, is there
He needs
any...
to come back to this class. Okay, yes.
she asks, is there any limit to one's investing shalom in a family relationship, especially when dealing with a spouse that has not the same thought pattern?
First of all, it's a wide question that it's very hard to answer because those who know how to deal with what we call shalom bayit, to explain or to help the couple of being back, the good relationship between one with each other. It's a bit complicated how exactly to do that, and there are all sorts of ways, and it's not the same for one couple and to another couple. So to answer a question like that, it's very hard.
There's no blanket answer.
Exactly, but the main issue here is that you need to do the best. Now, it's not saying, we can't say. There are times that there is no possibility except for being separated. We also see this, and it's very hard, and it's very heartbreaking also.
Yeah, it's not preferred.
To a situation like that. But this is the last option, and we're trying to do everything for not coming to this situation. And there are a lot of ways how to avoid it, and how to recover this, and how to build up the relationship, and how to live together. And we need to do, this is the first preferable
Positive.
way.
Yeah, we got to be positive.
Yeah.
I hope that helps you, Michaela. As Rabbi Goldberg said, they miss you here in the Zoom room. You're welcome to come back anytime.
But she gave us a great blessing. For tomorrow, we're going to show this for the Hebrew people.
Oh, nice.
in Italy. Thank you very much for that. Fine. Yes. Are there more questions? We have today, by the way, we have two people who sneaked inside from the Hebrew nation. Ehud, show your hand, please. So everybody will see you. Ehud is helping us very much in the also Noahide World Movement in behind the scenes. Thank you very much. We had another one before that she went to the Spanish group because also we have also who else went to the Spanish group? Lisette also went to the Spanish group because Rabbi Sherki went to the Spanish group, and we have other groups now. Everything is fine. Great day today. Fine, everybody. If you have more questions, if not, we can close it today. And
there's a question from Jack in the chat room, Rabbi.
Yes. Okay, I missed it. First of all, it's true that Sarah had a higher level of prophecy than Abraham. This is true. Okay. Could Sarah have seen that his son would one day be sacrificed? It says that she was not being taken to the sacrifice of Isaac, but when she heard it, it's a good question how she heard it, she died. Okay, he did it. Okay, so this is one of the things that, yes, could she have a laugh thinking that this angel should not tease me by promising me a son It's a good question, but it's more related. It's a bit confusing with the story in the King. We have in King 2 stories with Eliyahu and also with his big prophet after him, Elisha. Both of them also had a child. They promised to a person who didn't have any children, to a woman who didn't have any children, and then he died, and they woke him up. They brought his life back. But it's not what is happening here in between Abraham and Sarah. It's not what's happening. Let's continue on in those chapters, and we will see, because first of all, Sarah do have a higher level of prophecy. Don't say this too loud. We are in the internet. Don't only we can hear that. But usually the women have a bit higher level of understanding of this world and prophecy and all of those things. But this is life, I think I said more than once that if you will look good, you will see that the women were not kicked out from Eden ever. So they were not kicked out from Eden. Only man was kicked out from Eden. We saw that, and we exposed that, and we shared the verses. So you're asking yourself, so why do we have women here? Because we don't know how to live without the women here. So they did that for us a favor, and they came here also. But so yes, the women have more. But what you asked here, it's a confusion with other stories. It's not here. It's here. Sarah got a child as God promised her. It's a fruitful child. It's not only just multiplier. It's the same. It's something else. And she grew him up, and he continued on with the things. We'll learn this inside.
Excellent. So is that it for today, Rabbi?
Yes. Thank you very much, all of you, for coming, for sharing.
So, Rabbi, Hashem willing, are we on for next week? I mean, we will be at normal daylight savings time this week. I'm sorry for any confusion about the hour time difference. I only found out yesterday that daylight savings was in Israel today, so that's why I had originally advertised it at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, and I got lots of messages. I had to confirm it with Rabbi Goldberg what time he was going live, because I know Rabbi Shirky was coming with a blessing. So, okay. But are we on next week at the same time?
Yeah, next week same time. Okay, so organize the timing, because I know that you're also moving the clock, right?
Yeah, next week. Next week we will do our daylight savings, so we'll all be back in sync at the usual 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific next week instead of the hour later because of the difference in time. And, please extend our gratitude to Rabbi Shirky for joining us. He said some beautiful words. It was a joy to have him on. And once again, the Genesis lesson always leaves us lots to think about and to study. So let's sign out for this week, and Hashem willing, we'll see you all here next week. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, everybody.
Have a wonderful week and a blessing year also.
Thank you, Rabbi.
That's a Torah wave.